fans, this is Zubi Masters returning to my Let's Play Danganronpa. People who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the masterminds true right now. Our enemy has finally been revealed. Right now,
Anyway,
we have to get out of this world and figure out the rest of the story can come out. Yeah, you're right. Do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room?
indeed.
Perfectly. It's an absolute wild party and it's an heirloom the mastermind will never part with it. You can open the door to the school, right?
That's right.
And you should be able to use it on that door, right? Use that key of yours to open the door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. He designed on slide it into the keyhole. Okay.
Indeed.
Now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. Made our escape from the garbage pit. We're finally free. But there wasn't enough time to take a breath of relief. The real fight had just begun. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There were a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was possibly long. Couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey.
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now, what you say that I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help me keep my mind. So, Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Is your family famous?
wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. But how come it's like your family tradition, right?
Right.
Because we take pride in it.
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That's how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. We made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort.
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we have to do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains. Or I came here when I was looking up info about the school online, never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, is because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? I have absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I wanted to talk to my father about.
However...
There's something I wanted to say to him, though. What?
No
matter what it takes, I had to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? Last time I saw him, I was still very young, so I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was so talented, he had a promising future.
However,
but he had no interest in detective work, so he cut himself off from the family. Not long after my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for it. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
right.
If that's true, then I needed to thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wouldn't be able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, that was more talkative, more emotional. Don't blame him. I don't blame him, you know, he had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But that's not true. But there's one thing I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing. But then the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me, even to this day. The shadow's been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow. That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life. I have no doubt he forgot me years ago. But your family, to just cut him out like that.
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. We were connected. Are we connected by heart and soul? No. Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I'm so shocked to hear her say something like that. I don't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I didn't know how long, we finally reached the top. Looks like this is it. On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember the hatch on the ground is near the trash room. I'm fairly certain that we're so unlucky either, so it should open without much trouble. Right, sure goes nothing. Reach my right hand and pushed up against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so looks like we're back. I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back at Hope's Peak Academy. Yoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Next step, once again, should ask Kyoko. So now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the Mastermind finds out, I'm worried about you too. You helped me so they might.
Listen.
You're worried. Yes, of course.
So then.
Then let's just get a concrete answer.
In other words.
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
However.
If we tried to hide, it'll only matter of time till we're found out. It's not like we can run away. She said that she pointed at the nearby surveillance camp. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't. Because the Mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The Mastermind's ensnared? You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
The Mastermind's scooped exposed during the investigation during Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the Mastermind let their guard down.
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'd be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help us with our negotiation. I'm still a little, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Hey. Kyoko, I don't mind so much, but Mikyoto is supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really going to be okay? You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So if I did, what will you do? If the guilty parties exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I'm going to punish you again, and this time I won't leave anything to chance.
Right.
So whatever you feel you have to do. What?
However.
But before you do that, let me just say one thing.
No.
You execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that matters to you, right? I mean?
Hey!
You explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
Because...
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? You was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
In other words...
I was to be chosen as the black and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
However...
Then Makoto chose to overlook my lie. Your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting, because you never imagined that position one person would protect another like that.
Right.
In response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto as black and trying to execute. You made the choice out of desperation. More than that. You had realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However...
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. I would throw a wrench in, so to speak, into your precious, canceling machinery, alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid, even after you killed it.
Am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro, you did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. The Blacken is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the Blacken is me and not Makoto?
Well?
And you can prove this, right?
Well...
No, I can't. Just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? Too much old claims without a shred of evidence.
That doesn't matter.
I don't have the right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some sort of famous detective type.
Because...
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would try to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you love so much.
However...
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
Indeed.
If you're not... It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey.
If you were to try to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
Indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume you killed him because what we said was exactly
Listen
right.
to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey.
Of course you can say you were just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square, I suggest you take my advice. What is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Mukuro's trial over again. Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey.
Well, what would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial, one last showdown. In other words, this will be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuro's killer, of the mastermind himself. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'd probably just execute me without another word. Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Very?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes! Now, what you suggested might be possible. It could be certainly make for one honey of a climax.
In other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will they despair to climbs of victory?
I can barely contain myself!
That's one finally grisly showdown. You agree? Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting
You
end.
guys!
So for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that you've been buried in here. All the mysteries. That's right, every last mystery that's pawing around the school. You can do
I
that.
can barely contain
And that'll be
myself!
enough to lawfully as a victory for you.
it's true.
Oh, well, good. Then if you can call your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all that, we'll all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. Then you want to know the full truth. What kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we cover every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this will all turn out.
Hey.
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
Hey.
I just wanted to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement. You're not to be so suspicious. I said it before, but it's bearing repeating. Everything is based on school regulation, and having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to it. Trial is no exception, and it's part of the regulations. Mean that whoever killed Mukuro. It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you all this, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game are those 16 students.
Listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why he goes so quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really
I got nothing
angry.
left to say. So get lost, bitch. I'm so mad. He's emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. It just... You're really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all going to get punished later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair.
Hey.
Come on, Mako, let's go. Okay. Koto's unstable laughter. Holmes hitting to cling as he walked away. And just like that, we were out at the gym. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Thank you for everything. I have right now is because of you.
However,
Don't thank me just yet. The real battle's still ahead of us. Yeah, true. But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown.
So,
They had no choice but to accept. Huh?
because
It's all because of that one moment that the Mastermind let their guard down like us. So, what was it that Mastermind let their guard down?
so
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the Mastermind said? They said they hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
listen.
Now, what do you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You don't actually read about something like that happening very often. It's hard to imagine. Or what kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off?
However,
And yet somehow the Mastermind was able to do
in
it.
other words,
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. Reason?
so
Show the world something no matter the cost. Us killing each other. They wanted to show the world.
would seem
Mastermind had been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. And that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
in other words.
So the Mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other and show that off to the world. But why?
Correct.
To prove a point, most likely. To prove a
Hey.
point. The outside world has a name for the students of Hope's Peak, right? A certain concept. Talking about hope, right?
That's right.
And for those who represent hope to kill us and sink into despair. Here, the Mastermind wants the world to see that and try to prove their despair is better than hope. That's the goal as the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope? But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
Right, it is ridiculous, completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves ultimate despairs would despise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet that same motivation is what led to the Mastermind revealing their weakness.
In
What?
other words,
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world. The Mastermind had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the Mastermind simply ignored their rules, this would have been a game but a one-sided slaughter.
at the very least,
At least that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. That's why the Mastermind couldn't kill any of us himself.
indeed.
This is precisely the reason. No matter how much they hate what I'm doing, I hadn't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished, but in case they couldn't lay a finger on her.
Right.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer. They made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you, and due to that failure, the Mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who is also not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world, the Mastermind had to accept their suggestion.
Indeed.
To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they had to defeat us in perfect world.
In other words,
It would only do the Mastermind harm to have it shown that they violated their own regulations. But all that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the Mastermind to accept your challenge.
however,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance, because you believed in me. Another path open. Oh, I can't believe how much of the Mastermind's thought and plans you're able to figure out. I don't have the slightest
Wrong.
clue. Even though I couldn't prove any of it, it was just my reasoning, essentially. I was making a bet. I got it right. At least, at that time, at least I won that bet. So let out a quick sigh. Took it as a small sign of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. Totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to talk to. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and presentation, wouldn't you persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, I had shown my uneasiness that would have made you that much more uneasy. You're probably right. How about that?
However...
Anyway, we can't relax just yet. All we've done is earn the chance to fight. We have to win this.
Correct.
For everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. Yeah, you're right. We can't defeat the mastermind. It'll cost us our life. There's no option except to win.
Hey.
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. True, but now we know who our real enemy is. All we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the master. Work together with everyone.
However...
Is that really possible, huh?
Anyway,
right now we have to go find the
Shall we go?
They're probably in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? And suddenly we were greeted with your you again. Is he broken? I suppose his emotional instability reached its limit. Gee, what the heck?
However...
I wonder what that was all about. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Ugh!
Is that Makoto?
You guys!
It is! There's no two ways about it. That's Makoto!
Huh? You survived?
Jeez, you're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost, right?
Everyone was there, all my friends who had struggled together and survived. As soon as I saw their faces, I couldn't help myself. I started to tear up.
What?
Wait, what's that smell?
What the heck?
Yeah, man, seriously, Stan. It's Makoto, he smells like a wet dog. Hey, wait, shoo. And in a flash, my tears dried up.
Makoto.
There's no time to indulge in extended happy reading. I need to explain to everyone what happened with Makoto.
Yes.
Explain what? But is it okay that you're here? What if the mastermind catches you?
It's true.
That's related to what I had to tell you all. I need to tell you all about the last class trial.
In other words...
We're going to redo Makoto's trial.
Huh?
What? Seriously?
How about that?
What's the point of redoing it? Makoto killed her, right? No, I didn't do it. Like I keep telling you.
Wrong.
Makoto isn't a killer, and of course it's not me or any of you. Then who is it?
I see.
Then what she is saying is it was all the work of the mastermind.
Huh?
What? You're saying the mastermind killed Makoto?
That's right.
Right, it was an all-elaborated trap first by the mastermind. Makoto spotted the trap in time and did what he had to stop it.
However...
But his decision meant that he would be the one ended to die.
What did you
Spotted
say?
the trap like you. Did you, Makoto? It's not like it was easy. I just,
However...
But executing Makoto wasn't the Blackened is a clear violation of school regulations. The rules state that only the Blackened is to be executed. The mastermind broke their own rules, which is why I went to negotiate with him to have the trial one more time.
Huh?
And the mastermind agreed? Does that mean they really did break the rules? I had no choice but to agree. You used the TV broadcast to gain leverage. You needed, didn't you?
Correct.
Very observant of you.
Naturally.
I recall what you said at the end of the last trial. Now that the mastermind is ensnared, that's what you're referring to.
Don't be mean!
Hey, I'm totally in the dark here. For anyone who doesn't understand, you can ask Kyoko to explain it again later. So knowing all this, what do we do now?
About that.
It's about who killed Mukuro, right? So our job is to expose the mastermind. But there's more to it than that, correct? And yeah, for us to win this, we have to solve every last mystery surrounding this school. Every last mystery? But we've been looking around all this time and we still don't know anything, right?
Anyway...
You're probably guessed already, but if we lose this time, everyone dies. Everyone?
I hate
Hey,
you.
who said you could agree to those terms without talking to the rest of us? I'm fine with things the way they are. I'm fine with living here forever with Master. I mean, I want to get out of here as soon as humanly possible.
Anyway...
At this point, the only way for us to survive is to unravel the truth. In other words, one decisive final battle. A rather interesting development, I'd say. But figuring out who the mastermind is and how they killed Mukuro and all the school's mystery, it's a pretty tall freaking order. Maybe, but this time the trial is different. We know who our enemy is now. We have to work together and search as hard as we can. I'm sure we'll solve all those mysteries. I'm not sure about that. Huh?
I
can't agree with the idea of working together with everyone. You can't agree? Well, why not? I mean, working together with everyone seems like the most obvious way to solve all the mysteries.
Indeed.
That's what I thought too at first, until Monokuma gave us a little hint to this. Hint? It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough fun. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure you already told you this, but the killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step into Hope Peak since the killing game are those 16 students.
I see.
Monokuma said that, did he? Then Kyoko's opinion is perfectly reasonable. But why?
So, in other words...
If the mastermind really is the one who killed Mukuro, as Kyoko has said, then the mastermind would have had set foot in the school, right? Monokuma could probably murder Mukuro, but there's no way he could have disguised this scene like that.
In other words...
But according to Monokuma, the only people who have set foot in Hope Peak are the 16 students who have been taking part in the killing game. Then the mastermind is... There were 15 of us in the main hall at the very beginning. Add Mukuro when you get 16. So the mastermind would have been one of them?
That's right.
And those 16 people we started out with, the only ones still alive, are the people standing right here. Need I continue? Or do you get it now? You're saying the mastermind is one of us?
No way!
You can't be serious. Wait, you can't say for sure that's true. Monokuma might have said that to confuse us.
Indeed.
It's certainly a possibility, but only one among many. The mastermind being one of us is also a possibility. And one possibility we can't ignore. Yeah, I mean, we're an ultimate, right? The ultimate despair, so they must be a high school. You can't say it's not possible. But if one of us was the mastermind, they have to be controlling Monokuma somehow, right? But did you ever see anyone actually acting suspicious anytime Monokuma was acting?
Well...
Maybe they snuck off and control him in secret. I don't care how sneaky you are, we would have noticed someone sneaking off that many times.
I'm right?
Maybe Monokuma was an autopilot. Maybe they loaded up all the dialogues and actors beforehand. In that case, there's no way he could have had all those back and forth conversations with us. Well, it wouldn't be entirely possible if they directed the flow of the conversation. Well, maybe, but still.
This is a school announcement. You've all probably figured this out by now. At this point, the killing game has now entered true ending mode. So, in the name of fairness, I will unlock every room in the school. Look wherever you want. Solve the mystery in whatever way you see fit. Then we can all meet up at the class trial, okay?
How very mannerist for him to unlock all
That's fine.
the time for talk is done. Now we need to begin our investigation. But I was planning on working alone from the beginning anyway.
In the name of my family.
At this point, I can only rely on myself, on the Togami blood flowing through my veins. I have no time to worry about the rest of you. Each of you must uphold your responsibility. Oh, then... Making his final statement, Byakuya left the diner. You won't take me with him?
Hey.
Do you blame him? Drop masters, the rest of you are like coffee with cream without the cream, or coffee. You're totally useless. So, bye. With that, Toko trudged out of the diner. Now she's gone. And you're going off by yourself, right, Kyoko?
Indeed.
That's right. Just leave Makoto, Hina, and me.
You know?
In that case, I'm gonna go mind myself.
Just a second.
Wait, how come?
How about that?
Just wait and see. I'm gonna use my totally awesome spirit powers to figure out the masterminds I did. Laughing loudly, Hiro left the dining hall. I was gonna go off by myself. What about you, Hina? Guess I'll do the same thing. It's not that I don't trust everyone, you know.
I mean...
Up until now, we haven't been all that useful. Been depending on Sakura and everyone else. You're not useless. If you hadn't been here, I wouldn't Yeah, that's really nice of you to say. Still, I know I've mostly been totally useless.
Okay.
So I figure here at the end, maybe I can find something that'll help us all get out of here. So I'm gonna go off and do it all on my own. Okay, see ya. That was in surprisingly high spirits as she dashed off into the dining hall. Once again, it's just the two of us. So you're gonna go off on your own, right, Kyoko?
However...
Oh, don't misunderstand. Just because we're going to do our searches separately doesn't mean we can't still work together.
So...
That goes for all of us. I think I see what she means. Doing our own investigations doesn't mean we can't work together. I should just see it as splitting to cover more ground. And then we can get back together and share what we found. Oh, that's right.
So then...
We get going. It's in this list of things I need to check.
Correct.
Monokuma said that all the doors in the school should have been unlocked. Should we be able to investigate every nook and cranny in the school? We can visit all the places we couldn't go before.
Makoto.
No matter what it takes, we have to uncover the truth. By any means necessary. With that, Kyoko is gone, leaving only me. I don't have time to waste either. I have to begin my search. I still can't believe the mastermind might be one of us. So, what I have to prove? I have to prove that the mastermind isn't one of us. I have to expose the mastermind's true identity and solve the mystery of the school. And then we can all escape together. Guess I'll start by taking another look at the Mukuro Monokuma file. Due to the explosion, the identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. Had been stabbed in a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. They had also been struck in the head with an object as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. Once we find out who killed Mukuro Kusaba, then we know who the mastermind is. So where should I start investigating to figure out who the killer is? Start with the rooms that were locked up until now. The headmaster's room, the biolab, and the doors to the data center with the Monokuma's face on. On the second floor of the dorm where the gate was down there. That should be open now. At that, I should have to double check the areas that are connected to the murder, which means the garden and the dojo. Time to get started. Gates open. Finally check out the second floor of the doors. I have to do it. This is the second floor of the doors. It's like some ancient ruins. No more like a battlefield, like a bomb blew up in here. Head's completely turned. I mean, it's not really bad anymore, it's just garbage. It's a crack in the head of a bathroom, just a big pile of rubble. filled with lockers. Must have been for Hope's Peak students who came before us. The class before ours must have used these lockers. Oh, it's card readers for the lockers on the rooms on the second floor of the school. Just do a try. Took my and ran across the, and then no luck. Maybe only locker owners can open, which means none of us can do it. This room doesn't feel like a student room. More adult
Correct.
It's the headmaster's private room. Kyoko!
Indeed.
I've been through this room several times, but I still have one little request. So I just decided to check it out one more time. Oh, I regret. Leather chair. I can't imagine a student using something like this. It must have been the headmaster's. He said it must belong to the headmaster.
It would seem...
Whoever used this last, it looks like they were very interested in the ultimate despair. The PC has some research results left on it. And we might be able to get some info on the ultimate despair.
However...
There's not much though, nothing we can't already.
In other words...
The ultimate despair isn't one individual, but instead points to some kind of group. The group is responsible for the tragedy which happened 1 year ago. They were the worst sort of people whose driving forces come from despair.
However...
That's all there is. Nothing much to it, is there? But I guess that's the best he could do as a complete Kirigiri failure. But any information about the mastermind is helpful, right? Say whatever info we got on our hands,
Correct.
right? The outlet tab. There's a strange gap in the wall. Some kind of design mistake or the construction defect or something.
So...
There's a gap there, but not just any gap. I can feel a breeze coming out.
Indeed.
Breeze? It's likely an open space in the other side of this wall. Space coming. I mean like a hidden room? I think I might know how to open it. Oh. You have some kind of trick to it?
Indeed.
Very easy. So easy, I'm not sure I can even call it a trick. It's all a program on the PC. I think it controls it. Entering the right password and the door should open right up.
However...
I don't have a clue what the password might be. All we know is it's probably made up of letters and or numbers, and we can't go for it from here. You're right, that's not nearly enough to go on.
It's true.
I looked through all of this paperwork, all the files on the PC, everything I could think of. I learned more about them than I have any desire to, but nothing that might have been his past. When I think about how much time I wasted on them. So there's a hidden room she couldn't get into. That's what she meant to regret. I think we can assume there must be some kind of clue waiting in there. But maybe for her, there's more to it than that. Anyway, if we want to get it out, we need to figure out the password. And if Kyoko can't figure out, no way do I stand a chance. No, wait, there might be a chance. The password could be something Kyoko wouldn't have thought of, or something she didn't want to think of. For example, what about your name?
What?
Huh? Oh, sorry, I was trying to think of what the password might be. Sure, if she hadn't tried it, I mean, it's totally understandable. After the way she talked about her death, the idea he would use her name as his password. Knowing how she is, I bet the idea never even occurred to her. You mind if I try it just to be sure?
Well?
It's not like you need my permission. If you want to try it, try it. Do whatever you want. Oh, okay.
Any...
Oh, I'm glad I thought of trying Kyoko's name. That's not it. That just might hurt Kyoko even more.
Hey,
Don't worry about me, Makoto. Don't be. I already know that your guess is wrong. Okay, in that case, here goes nothing. Collected myself and turned to face the computer monitor. Just type the password here. Type her full name, Kyoko Kirikiri. What? That did it? Kyoko, it worked!
Why?
Kyoko? Without looking at me, she disappeared into the room. She looked familiar. Okay. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you like it and stay tuned.